Good morning, everybody. We're delighted to have you all listening in today. We're joined by Noel Delaney. Noel is a senior partner at Woods and Partners, recently set up in Portlaoise. Delighted, Noel, and you're one of our newest members of the Chamber, just joined in 2021. So, Noel, would you like to give us a background as to why you chose Portlaoise to set up?
Yeah, thanks, Bernie, and good morning. I suppose for people who don't know me, I'm from local, so I'm from Ballyrone, born and reared. I spent a long number of years working in Dublin, so 24 years with a large accountancy practice in Dublin. A number of years ago, I set up a sub-office of that practice in Newbridge and joined the local chamber there. And I always found the chamber as a really good way of connecting locally. I suppose the reason why we set up in Portlaoise is the practice itself is growing, and I think Portlaoise is a great base. I think it's very central. I think I mentioned to you already, you're only 45 minutes from the M50, you're an hour and 15 from the Jack Lynch Tunnel, an hour to Limerick, and then a half an hour to Kenny, Carlow, Tullamore. So as a base, I think Portlaoise has a lot to offer. As well as that, it's only a 10-minute commute compared to my hour and 25 minutes to Dublin every morning and every evening. So it has a lot of attractions, but I think coming home and dealing locally is one of the biggest attractions for me, to be perfectly honest.
Right, and just to let people know where you're based, you're in the building where Heidi Higgins had her business previously.
Yeah, and it's a really lovely old building. I think originally it used to be Fran Fogarty was a tailor here years ago, and okay. he's from Ballyrone. He's 2 doors up from where I live in Ballyrone as well. He's sadly passed away, but yeah, it's on Grattan Street, just really on the top square here in Portlaoise. So we've redesigned. Obviously, Heidi had a retail unit here, really top quality unit. So we've converted upstairs into an open plan office space. And downstairs we have consultation rooms, a kitchen and reception area, and a working area with hot desks as well. I've actually kept one of Heidi had a lovely quotes up on the wall, right. And I've kept one of them in my boardroom, which is a Coco Chanel. Yeah, so just to keep a little link to what was here.
Yeah. What's the quote?
Well, it's to do with quality, which ties into what we give as well. So
yeah, that's a nice it's nice continuity from one business to another. Yeah,
it's probably something that I do in most places. You do try and keep a link, which is always good.
And I know you have offices. You're not just in Laois. You have offices in Dublin, Meath, and Cavan.
Yeah, and again, I suppose the background to my story is I would have trained and worked in a large accounts practice in Dublin when I started with them. There was only 45 to 50 people. That was 24 years ago. There's now 1,500. With Woods and Partners, we're in Kells, which is the original office, Virginia and Cavan, and an office space in the Landings in Dublin in the IFSC, down very close to the central bank. And now obviously the office here in Portlaoise. So I think the advantage of that, Bernie, is that most of the clients that I would deal with, and I brought a large number of clients with me when I left my old practice to service them, but a lot of them are based inside the M15 in Dublin. So having a Dublin base is very, very important. I do deal with a lot of local clients as well. And the sort of clients that we deal with locally are, large family-run, owner-managed businesses with an eye to exporting or an eye to expanding, and that's what we do quite well. And with the office space in Kells and in Virginia, we're also part of an international network, which allows us then to have a link into the rest of the world. Abacus International is the international network, which has been really useful, especially because of Brexit. A lot of my clients looking at getting in and out of the UK either through exporting or even importing into or out of the UK, and issues in relation to VAT, customs. So having a link into other jurisdictions is really important.
Yeah, it sounds like you have a really good mix of the urban, rural, and mix of clients across all of those offices, which is nice.
Yeah, and if you look at our website, I think we mentioned this earlier. You know, it takes that in. So there's a picture of the convention centre plus Kells and Meath. And I suppose it's not just a gimmick. It's what we are. It's what we do.
Yeah, it's your story. Yeah.
It is a story, exactly. And I think websites are very important in telling your story. You need to make sure that you do tell the story correctly.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would recommend anyone to have a look at the website. It's brand new, as you said earlier, and really says it as it is. You get a really good feel for the business. So you cover a lot of sectors right across the scope of industry.
Yeah, so the sectors, and sometimes people can get caught up in sectors, but a lot of the sectors that we deal with, I especially have a lot in agricultural, manufacturing, and not-for-profit. So my background in has been that I've done a lot of work with not-for-profits and large not-for-profits, housing associations. But typically the type of clients that I deal with, it's to do with a relationship with owner-managed and family-run businesses where decisions are being made around kitchen tables, which are effectively the boardroom table. But those are large, large, successful family-run businesses that want to expand. So it doesn't matter what the sector is. Sometimes what matters is the relationship. And being able to be at the other end of the phone when somebody has an issue, whatever that issue is. Like I've had phone calls on Saturday morning, Sunday nights, with something that has just popped up, and you need to be able to take that call, because if someone is giving me a service, I want them to be there when I make that call as well. So that's what we try to replicate.
And Laois certainly has a great selection of family-run businesses that are very significant and very successful. So hopefully you'll be able to kind of meet those at some point. So in terms of the clients that you're looking to reach out at in Laois, it's across all sectors then, by the sounds of it.
So it is, Bernie, and I suppose the important thing is there's a lot of very, very successful businesses locally that are looking to expand as well. And with COVID, Brexit, there's a lot of little wrinkles beginning to form. And this time last year, none of us were talking about COVID at all. It wasn't mentioned. February, which is less than 12 months ago.
I know, it's hard to believe.
Brexit was on the horizon, but people weren't sure whether it was ever going to happen. We had a different administration in the White House, and now with Joe Biden there, I think there's going to be a huge amount of FDI, foreign direct investment, coming back into Ireland. He's made it known that he is Irish. He's from an Irish background. His administration is a lot of Irish people, and you'll see a lot more foreign direct investment coming back into Ireland. And I think Portlaoise as a base is ideally placed to attract that, especially with the new centres along the N7 there, the business parks. We should be able to attract a lot more large multinationals into the area and develop. Like the town itself is 20 to 25,000 people. I was talking to the local enterprise board during the week, and approximately 12 to 13,000 people leave the county every day to work when we were all working outside, which is a huge number.
Massive.
Yeah, and one of the things that we're trying to do here is attract local people that are very, very bright, well educated, that instead of spending a lot of time commuting, whether by train or car, into Dublin or the large urban centres, that they can get the same type of experience and training locally. So you attract and retain staff. I think the one positive from COVID is that it has shown that you can work from anywhere and give a really, really good service. I just still think you need that physical interaction, and you do need local, and you need an office space that you can come in and talk about ideas. If you have an issue with a client, that you can sit down with somebody and have that conversation. But I just think that Portlaoise and Laois as a centre, as I said earlier on, it's very central. The N7, the N9, an hour gets you to most places that you want to be.
Yeah. When we set the chamber up 18 months ago, that was our vision, was to make Laois the centre of Ireland for business. And really, that's the message that's getting out there. And you're an example of a company that are seeing the benefits of that and seeing Laois for being that really good location to base yourselves. Just there, what you said, like, this is an incredibly challenging year for Irish businesses in terms of COVID and Brexit, but there are chinks of light, and I think what's happening in the States, and hopefully foreign direct investment, and people are definitely, I know there's light at the end of the tunnel, and people are gearing up for the exit out of this. So hopefully, as predicted, there'll be a great boom following this very tricky time for everybody.
Yeah, and it's no different than we're all old enough to have gone through a recession not so long ago, which was probably self-administered, I suppose, whereas this one has come at us a bit differently. And I think if we've learned anything from that back in the early or the mid-noughties to the early teens, was that you need to have a strong foundation, and you need, and in fairness to the government, I think when the issues started, their interaction with giving subsidies and the wage subsidy scheme, loans and everything else has helped. I think what may happen is there may be a bit of a shock when the vaccinations eventually are given to everybody and we're out the far side of COVID, and those subsidies will stop. And then there's a change again back to, we no longer have those stabilizers on the side of the bikes and we have to cycle on our own again. And that's where you're going to need, I suppose, people like ourselves.
Exactly.
But before that, I think, it's like the parable, you need to build your foundations on concrete, not on sand. So just to make sure you're ready for that when you come out the far side.
Absolutely. Well, Noel, it was great to hear all about Woods and Partners, and you're very welcome to the Chamber and to Port Laois, and in fact the County of Laois, even though you are a local. And we wish you all the best with the business, and look forward to, can't wait to come in and see the office when restrictions allow, and hopefully to have an event as soon as we can where you can actually meet people face to face. Thanks very much, Bernie. Look forward to welcoming you into the office here. Great, thank you.